Okay, so Laura, Margaret. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks for
glad.
that.
I'm really glad you told me that. So I'm going to call you Margaret now every time I see you. But no, welcome to Blind Mind Podcast.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. How long does it took us to get here this morning?
Oh, about 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
In traffic, yeah.
That's dedication.
It is.
I appreciate it. We said earlier on, I'm sure you caught up with lots of people on the way.
I did.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it, when you do the whole route round of like, oh, who can I ring? Who can I catch up with?
Yeah, because
They feel really special for a minute, don't they? And then they realise you're driving.
yeah. I've got one friend in particular who talks a lot anyway, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go now. I rang her, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go.
Although you've been 2 hours.
Yeah.
No, love
Yeah.
it. Cool. Well, look, I know you've seen a lot of podcasts and stuff. You mentioned it before, but just let the guys know who you are and what you do in brief, and then we'll break things down for you.
Okay, so I'm Laura. I'm a female health empowerment coach. So basically, I work with women who want to take back control of their lifestyle and make time for themselves and the health, really. Because as you know, we always put us at the bottom of the pile when we've got business, family, career, everything else. So it's just about, rather than saying you haven't got time or I'm too tired or it's my hormones, because hormones come into play. It's about being empowered to say, right, what am I in control of, and
Yeah.
how can I put myself first
Yeah.
and make a bit of time for it.
Yeah. And did that come from you suffering through that? Is that why you started then?
So about 5-6 years ago, I started personal training, and then when we had lockdown and I started doing a lot of like coaching calls online, I realized that I was more heavily into the mindset and being empowered. Like, what can I do? So then it's kind of just stemmed from there, really, that I've just built my program based on the empowerment and also emotional resilience as well. That is a big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And before you did your personal training stuff, were you working in the industry or completely different?
No. So I was working for O2 for about 12 years, but
Oh, right. So it was literally a shift from
yeah,
got
totally
you.
different. But I got into bodybuilding, so I did that at that
Yeah.
time. So, and a lot of people used to say to me, you should do this as a business?" I'm like, "No, it's just my own hobby. I just want to do it for me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it."
Yeah.
But it just stemmed from there, really. I love to help people, who are struggling. It's like the struggling is a big thing, because you don't need to struggle when it comes to what can I eat, how do I train, how am I, become happy? Do you know what I mean? There's
Yeah. Yeah.
always, we can always figure it out. So I liked helping people with that.
Yeah, got it. Because that's where we first met, isn't it? Years ago, doing this. I can't think where we met. I knew you from when you did bodybuilding at some point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
When we caught up a while ago, I was thinking, where did we last see each other? It might have just been at like Body Power or something like. Do you know what I mean? Like an expo or something.
No, because I think you did something quite a while ago. Was it like it was like a group or a community on Facebook? It was a good few years ago, and I joined.
Yeah, it was in COVID. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was ages ago.
Yeah, full walled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
was
was
it.
it.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it's funny that is. Okay, there you go then.
Yeah, but the bodybuilding was 2011. That's when I
Yeah.
did that. So
Yeah. But I remember seeing pictures and stuff though, yeah. So would you do bodybuilding again, or is that sort of like a splash and do you know what I mean? Did it, figured it out and then
I'd always like to do it to see the changes that I've made myself and where I would place and how well I've done. But no, I just can't do it. Not with Blake and business and everything.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
no.
dedication,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still train, I still eat quite similar and stuff like that. I've still got that passion. I still get inspired by it. But for me to do it, no.
Yeah. Well, you're in great shape, so you're clearly doing something right and eating well and training hard. Are you more focused on strength now though with your training? Yeah.
Yes, I've been training with a guy called Wiley Sung for about 5 years. Because after I'd done the bodybuilding and everything, I was like, what's next? I don't want to do that, but what's the next thing? And then I'd seen he was training a girl called Gemma. She's passed away now, but she was doing like deadlifts and stuff. I'm like, who are you training with? Like, what are you doing? So she told me, and then I got in touch with him, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It was like the next step then.
Yeah.
Do you know? So like eating more, you've got to eat more, be strong. And it was that I don't want to diet anymore, but how can I still kind of do what I'm doing, but eat? Do you know?
It's wicked for you to
love
do
to
that
eat.
as well. But that's the thing, is it, right? But it's
Yeah.
really good for you to do that as well, because going from, let's just be looking at typically what women think, yeah, going from rigid diet, bodybuilding, being in great shape, not being happy, a lot of women are scared to go to the strength side because they go, "Well, I don't wanna look big and bulky
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything else."
yeah.
And actually, like, you're clearly someone that's showing that that's not how it has to be and
No.
that do you know what I mean? So it's great that you do that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, like, the old style mindset in there, like, you've got to bulk, and that's, like, such an o and I hear it now. Like, I've
Yeah.
got, a girl who I'm working with, and she wants to put weight on, and she said, "Somebody's told me I've got to do a dirty bulk," and I'm like, "That's really old school, you don't need to." She's like, "I wanna do it healthily." I'm like, "We can do it healthily."
Mm.
Do you know? It's just like old mindset and
Yeah, it is,
in
yeah.
it.
Thing is, I mean, I know some of the
I
best
mean, you can.
yeah, well, I know some of the best bodybuilders in the world, and they'll still say a bulk.
Yeah,
To me, it makes me cringe because what comes with that, but those guys mean it in the right term
yeah,
because that's what they're doing.
yeah, yeah,
And obviously they know. But yeah, I know what you mean though. When someone says dirty bulk, it's like, you mean you want to eat loads of pizza
yeah.
and you want a reason to do it. That's how I see that.
Yeah, it's about, 12 years ago or more when I started getting into training, and, um, I was always around people that competed in at NABBA. I was very lucky
Mm,
to be around, it was like Shane and Rachel who'd won Mr. and Miss Universe.
mm.
So it was Rachel who got me ready way back then. So I was very lucky to get the advice that I got from, top,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But then it was always after you'd done the diet, it's like, well, how do I eat now? And they went, just go eat normally. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't do that. No,
Mentally, you can't.
yeah, but back then it was like, just go eat. But
Yeah,
it's like you can't because you're just gonna balloon. Whereas I know
yeah.
obviously you got to do the reverse diet and stuff like that now and go steady with it. But yeah, so it
And
was
as well,
very different back then.
taking into account the difference of people, just for argument's sake, you could get 20 people, 10 of them just eat normal afterwards and they're fine, and 10 of them try to
Yeah,
do that and
yeah,
end up piling weight on,
yeah,
mentally feeling shit, and also do you know what I mean? So, you just have to be aware, don't you? Like, some people
yeah.
are okay and some people are not. So, it's just yeah, taking that approach. So, what was it like for you? I always like to go back to, little Laura, like, where you started and, how life was as a child for you. Like, what was your upbringing like? Like, where were you? What did you do?
Oh, so I guess growing up, like my mum and dad were together for many years, but my dad was like very controlling.
Mm,
And, I saw it from, like, a very young age, actually, like, young very young, probably, like, age 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. A lot of arguments in the house. Um, yeah, just very controlling. One minute it'd be nice, very, very nice, and then it'd go quiet, big arguments for a couple of days, quiet again, and then it'd just go back to, like, nothing ever happened. So
mm,
very confusing, like that, and that happened for years. Um, yeah, so I guess very don't know really, just around a lot of I don't know what the word is really, just volatile,
mm,
really. My sister left when she was 16. She changed her name, she moved, she didn't want anything to do with us. And back then, me being 9, she was like my role model. I was
mm.
gutted about that, but knowing what I know now, I can see why she did it. But
Yeah.
growing up all them years not knowing where she wasn't even that far away. She was in Wakefield. Um, not knowing where she was, like my sister's just gone and left her because she didn't want to be around it anymore. It's like just left me very like lost
Mm.
for a long time.
My, daughter's 8 now, so I'm trying to think, like, literally the same age as her, really. 9, you were 9.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's mad to think because I think, yeah, she wouldn't know what's going on.
no.
Mm,
So yeah, so she left, and we found her again probably about I don't even know when it was, probably about 9 years ago.
yeah, since when you were
Yeah,
so from when you were 9 to
yeah,
really? Wow.
yeah. So long time.
So is that her completely just cutting everybody out of life, and you said she changed her name?
Yeah, she changed her name. I did find her when I was like 16, 17. I looked in the phone book. I thought, I'm just going to see if I can find her. And I found her name and number in the phone book. So I rung and she answered. And I remember it really
In the
well.
phone book?
Yeah, yeah, in the phone book. Yeah.
Forget that was a thing.
Yeah, we don't have one anymore, do we? Found her number in the phone, but rung and she answered. And I knew it was her voice straight away. I put the phone down and I drove to her house. And she was ringing, ringing, ringing. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Didn't answer the phone because I thought if she knows it's me or anything, she's not gonna be there when I go around.
Yeah.
So I went round and knocked on the door and she answered and I was just like, "Oh my God," like my sister, I hadn't seen her for literally how long it been? 9, 10, 11, 12, quite a few years anyway. And, she invited me in, and it was just a really weird feeling that she'd invited me in after all
So
that
she was
time.
really welcoming, like,
She was very welcoming, yeah, and she, like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna say yeah because I want to stay here a lot longer because I hadn't seen her for years. I've been looking for
how
all
did
this
that feel
time."
like? 'Cause I've
I was I would well, I just wanted to burst out crying, but I was trying to, like, compose myself because 'cause I've not seen her for so long. It was just very I don't know, like because she was welcoming, it felt comfortable
mm,
as well. So when I went in the house, she was like, "Wow, you know, you look great." 'Cause she hadn't seen me since I was 9. "What you doing now?" I said, "I'm at college." Just a bit chit chat really. And then because it was a bit unusual, I was just like started asking heavy questions then, and it frightened her off a little bit.
yeah, but you're obviously thinking back to
Yeah, because I
little
wanted some
you, weren't you?
answers.
You're just like, I
Yeah.
need to carry on from that point in my life."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, I was asking some questions and stuff, and she kept calling my mum and dad "they." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not they, they're your mum and dad, aren't they?" Obviously, because 'cause I'm 17, I didn't understand what I think now. And she was like, "Right, okay, I think that'll be enough for this first meeting." So I'm like, "Right, okay." And I kinda like it was just
So how
like,
old would she have been then if you were 17?
oh, maybe in her 30s, I'd say. I think
Right.
there's, like, about 8 years between us.
Yeah.
So, and then that was it. But then I was so frightened to go back, I didn't do it again, and then I lost touch. She moved house, so I lost touch with her again all that time. And then what happened was my mum finally left my dad because I fell pregnant with Blake, and my dad said, "You can't play happy families with Laura and be with me. You got to make a decision." So my mum was like, "You're not gonna take another daughter away from me," basically. So she left my dad. And then she was at this festival and she recognized one of my sister's old friends from years ago. So she went up to her and she was like, "Excuse me, you don't know me, but I'm Amber's mum. Can you tell her that I've left her dad now? And if she wants to get in touch with me, here's my number." So she said, "Yeah, fine." She didn't hear anything for months and months and months. Then all of a sudden, my sister rung and said, "Hiya, it's Amber." Well, she used to be called Lisa. She's called Amber now. "It's Amber. Can we arrange a meetup?"
So did your mum know she was renamed to Amber?
Um, yeah, I think she did. I think she did.
Mm.
So then they had a meet up and it turned out she was pregnant with twin girls. That's why she hadn't been in touch because she was heavily pregnant. So her
Wow.
friend didn't tell her just in case. So she met up with her husband at the time and twin girls, 6
Wow.
months. So we started to like rebuild a friendship, a relationship again after all that time.
And that's what with all 3 of you sort of thing, your
Yeah.
sister and your mum and you?
Yeah, yeah. So my mum didn't tell me at first, and then she said, "I've got something to tell you. I've been to see your sister," and she brought out these photos of like Amber, husband, and twins, and it's like, wow, we've been pregnant at the same time as well. We didn't even know. So
How did your mum change from that point? Because obviously it's a lot to handle for anybody, right? Regardless of who you are, where you are, how old you are, like, how different was she at that point, your mum?
so at that time, she was still kind of rebuilding who she is because she's been controlled since she was 18. She got married to my dad at 18 and left him like 36, 38 years after. So rebuilding a life a lot, you know, confidence, getting a job that she's never had to do, friendship circle, where do I live? It's like rebuilding a life. But now out of that, she's met somebody now and she's on holiday every month. You know, she's kind of like living a life again.
Yeah, she's living what she probably wished she did
Yeah,
live before,
yeah,
yeah.
that got taken away from her really. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see her do that.
Mm,
But it's like my mum's kinda like being a 20-year-old now,
yeah,
when she needs to be like a grandma, really,
yeah.
which she is.
But isn't that crazy? Because ultimately, you don't want to say that to her because she's just enjoying,
Mm,
but at the same time, what you see fit right now is what I don't wanna say what she should be, because that's the wrong word, but do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, you see what she should be doing now as in, "Well, hold on a minute, you're now a grandma, you're now" you know? But it must be hard for her because she's yeah, she's not lived that life.
mm,
She's just wanting to have that fun.
yeah, and it's great. I have said to her a couple of times, though, that you need to be around for us a little bit more.
Yeah.
'Cause I guess it's not come natural, which is fine, 'cause sometimes it don't come natural, and I get it because I do a lot of work on accepting it, but sometimes it is hard to accept it when you need
Yeah, of
that.
course. Yeah. I think as well the really big thing and something I've worked on a lot is knowing that you don't need, you want, or knowing what is a need and a want. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know that feeling of like, because my dad isn't around, hasn't been around for years, hasn't met my son. He's seen my daughter a handful of times. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Mm.
and I chose to break that relationship because everything, our relationship together was just never good. But you know that, you know, for years and years and years, I thought I needed him. I don't need him. I wanted him.
Yeah.
But that want is that powerful and that strong that it makes you feel that you need them. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
especially as an adult, I always just think like it's important for us to know what need and want is.
Yeah. I guess, 'cause, like, growing up, because I felt like my mum and dad weren't really there for me, I've had to grow up kind of with that mindset of I don't well, it gave me the mindset of I don't need anybody,
Mm,
because it's like I didn't have anybody there when I needed them, so I don't need anybody.
mm,
So it's allowed me to be independent in terms of I'll do this myself. I don't need anybody.
yeah,
But then at the same time, it's like not backfired, but it goes against you as well. Because when you do kind of need someone, you're scared to shout up and
yeah,
ask for help.
yeah.
So I did a lot of work, deep work on my values. I think it was last year, because I kept getting stuck all the time. And my big three values are like strength, independence, and connection.
Mm,
Because when I was doing my values work and writing down like my top 10, this sounds awful, but family was never in there. And I'm
mm,
like, why am I not putting family? Family kind of should be a value, even though Blake is, and my relationship is a value of mine. But when it comes to family, don't want to put it. So
mm.
that's why connection is a big value of mine, because family, friends,
Fall into that.
yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
business, everything
Yeah,
goes.
connections are more like the emotional attachment to that, but the family can be a part of that
Yeah,
connection.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, but when it comes to strength, it was like, what does strength mean? What is it and what is it not? And what I figured out was you can still be a strong person and still ask for help. Whereas
yeah.
I were like,
Gotcha.
no, if I'm asking for help, I'm not strong. Like I'm not
Yeah,
independent. And I'll say it to Steve, like my partner all the time, is that don't help me because I'm not independent if you're doing it for me.
yeah,
Do you know? But I've kind of learnt to break that barrier down over the last 6 to
yeah,
12 months. And like it's great. It's great. I
yeah,
ask for help all the time now.
yeah. But do you know what? And
Because it's so
I'm sure
different.
you've gone through this like shift from what you're saying, but actually, being strong is asking for help
Mm,
because if you don't get the job done, whatever it is, or you don't fix the problem, you don't work on the thing, and then you become weaker.
yeah.
Do you know, if we're looking at positive negatives, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
because you're
that's
gonna
as
get
simple
so
as it is.
frustrated, aren't you? You're gonna get frustrated because you can't do the thing, but it's not just that, it's like having that support, because we all
Yeah,
need support.
yeah,
And it is actually, I said this to my clients on Friday when I did a coaching call, is that, how nice does it feel when you know that somebody's helping you
yeah,
and it's not just you doing everything, and that's
yeah.
when that overwhelm comes from. And the phone call that I had in the car driving here with my friend, she's running a business, single parent like me. She's got two young kids, and it's like, I said last night, I had a bit of a mini meltdown, because when I start thinking of all the things I need to do, the house, business, my own training, I'm coming here, I've got Blake's football, like literally everything, it gets so overwhelming.
Mm,
But you've got to like kind of not think about it in a
yeah,
way, otherwise it
or
gets too
systemize
much.
it in that
Yeah,
respect.
definitely.
Yeah,
Put it in the diary. When
yeah,
you actually start thinking about it, it does get a bit much. So you've got to ask for help.
yeah, yeah. But that goes to a little bit about the stuff we were talking about earlier on with like within business, like delegation and stuff. But you can also put that into life, right? Because in life, there are things you have to do. There are things you don't have to do. There are things that you could choose to get support with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, and I say it all the time, and I used to feel like a snob saying this, but I think a lot of people have cleaners now. We've got a cleaner because I don't value cleaning. Now that sounds ridiculous. It's like, what, you don't want to live in a clean house? It's like, well, no, I do. That's why I've got a cleaner.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
took me a long time to get my head around that because I was like, am I being lazy? And it's like, and then obviously, and as well, certain people that you say that to, they think, oh, you made the money, are you? Like, you should do it yourself. I mean, that's the older generation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
mum and dad are like, you know, they're like them people that were like, "Are you serious?" But at the same time, that's because 'cause they've never done that, so I shouldn't be judged by that, you know? Not that they
It's definitely an
judge
older
me, but
generation thing.
yeah. But that's that delegation thing though, isn't it? It's like, yeah, if you want something, do it, and that's how I see that strength scenario there for you. Like that could look at delegation. You could look at that as a delegation thing. Like if you need to know how to do something and you don't find out how to do that thing, if it is a priority, then you should go and find out. That's
Yeah,
not you being
yeah,
weak. That's not you not being strong or however you want to word it. It's you being smart to get it done still.
yeah. It's like, I bought an air fryer not long back because as much as I
Because
love
everyone's got one.
no, well, they
Mad,
have.
isn't it? I know.
I
Everyone
put it
talks
off for
about them, and I
ages.
was like, "I don't want one, but I want one 'cause everyone's got one." And I
Yeah,
don't
well, it's either that or a dry rub, so but I got an air fryer because I was like, I love to eat,
Yeah.
training's important to me, I
Speed.
speed. So it's
Yeah.
like, right, I don't like prepping food. I needed to make it as easy as possible. I need to save time.
Yeah.
Right, get an air fryer.
Have you seen the new Ninja one?
Oh, is it like stacked on top?
Yeah, it's double,
Yeah, I
but
haven't
it's
seen it,
got
but
4 though, 'cause it's
has
got
it?
yeah, 2 in the top, 2 in the bottom. It looks like I'm trying to sell it to you here.
I'm not buying one.
But I'm actually no, I said to Sarah the other day, I was like, so ours is like, you know, whatever size,
Yeah.
and it's the same size as ours, but double. So I was like, great, it's a space saver as well, because
Mm.
I don't want a double one that's wider. Talking bullshit stuff now. This is adult stuff, isn't it? But yeah, but it's things like you're right, because like, is that going to save me time? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not tested it out. I don't know if you have, but you can make chicken in it. No, I've done chicken in it a couple times actually. But you can make all meats in it, can't you? Any
Yeah.
can you do rice in it? I don't
I've
know.
not made I've not made rice in it,
You
no.
must be able to somehow. But
I don't
anyway,
know.
it'd fall through. But as in, like, there must be a way you could
Yeah.
do something. Right? We'll research that.
But like, it's the thing about how do I make things easy for
No,
myself?
of course. Speed, effectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which is part of you being independent and smart. And but again, it's that thing, isn't it? Where like we can do all these hacks and tricks. But there's also only so much you can physically do on your own. And that's where it is about, again, I'm using the word delegation. I don't quite mean business when we say that, but it's about just, am I doing everything smart?
Mm. Yeah. I mean,
Are people around me helping me as much as they could?
yeah, I mean, like we just had a chat before this, didn't we? And I said I am doing everything on my own. So I am at this
Mm.
point now where I do need some more help because I don't have family around me.
Yeah.
I do actually like to clean. I do actually like to clean. I don't like tidying up, but I like to clean, like sorting stuff out. But yeah, it's just about making things as easy as possible for yourself.
Mm. But also doing the things and going off what you're saying there and not even taking the piss out of it. But if you like to clean, then you should do more of that because
Yeah.
it sounds crazy to say, but not as in do more of it, as in go and set a business up doing cleaning. But do you know what I mean? Like, as in, like, if that is something, because a lot of people say they find it therapeutic, don't they?
Yeah.
I've tested these things out and I always end up doing it and then not enjoying it. But you know, things like washing your car and stuff, you sometimes see someone washing the car all the time, don't you? And you think, Jesus Christ, man, have you got anything else better to do? But actually they're doing it because they have probably got more time to do it. But they also
Some people like
they
it.
love the process,
Yeah.
don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's mad, isn't it? But
Yeah.
things that are powerful, like it's like if you like the process of something, do it.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, because there's a guy that lives over the road from me. He's always cleaning his car, and I'm like, can I send mine round?
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
one of them
yeah,
things that you know what, I bought everything once. I always do this with things. Anyway, I bought everything once and it's just sat in the I've probably washed I've never washed the van, but when we had the car before, I washed that twice. You know, when you
right.
think like
Yeah.
it's like, but I do something things like that sometimes, thinking, yeah, it must be therapeutic. It must be like, I do it one time, think, oh, it was all right, but then never do it again.
When I was prepping for my bodybuilding shows, I did actually clean my car on a Sunday because I had nothing else to do. I was like, what can I do for 2 hours
Yeah,
before my next meal? Clean my car. And I
yeah.
wondered why I was
One, so
shattered.
you don't eat, and two, to actually burn a bit more body fat. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So
So okay, so when you like reconnected and stuff with your sister and I guess like you got your family back together in a way, didn't you? So do you not speak to your dad?
no,
Is he completely out the
yeah,
picture?
yeah. He's kind of like disappeared. I don't think he's too far. I think he's only in Doncaster, so I've heard. But
Yeah.
I've always like had a thought of should I get back in touch with him?
Mm,
But after everything that he's done, why would I want to?
mm,
But then because I've got Blake, I just think if he met Blake, he'd love him. He would absolutely love him. But then it's like, I, I don't know. I don't want to be uh, rejected again. But then for somebody to stand in front of you, pregnant, your own dad to say, I don't want anything to do with you.
mm.
It's like, why would you want to give somebody not a second chance, but kind of just see, have they changed?
Yeah.
'Cause he probably has still got the same phone number, so I could probably just ring him today or tomorrow, but I don't know, I keep toying with, should I still have that connection with him or, because he's put everybody through a lot of shit basically. Everybody in the family, why would I want to bring him back into my life? I don't know. But there's always
Mm,
it's that closure in it that you want sometimes, like to see what they're doing and can we rebuild some sort of relationship? I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it?
yeah, it
It's that
is.
what if, but
Have you ever worked on that with anybody?
no, I've tried to do it on myself really. Like through books. There was a book actually, I think it's called, is it called How to Do the Work? I can't think
I'm
who
not
it's
that
by.
person, if
I'd
I'm
have to
honest,
have a
so I
look.
wouldn't.
But there was a book, and I had to stop reading it because it's just getting a bit like too deep about it. It was like I can't handle it mentally, really.
Yeah.
No, I haven't really. No.
Mm. The only reason I say it is because these podcasts are about the guest, but I'm happy to say my sort of side of things. But I'm in a very, very similar situation where, as you'll probably see, me and Sarah got engaged. I don't speak to my dad or my sister,
Okay.
and it's just through the fact that we've grown apart because we're just different
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and I chose that they're better out than in my life. I'm a very big fan of protecting your energy and stuff because I'm very driven by my external energy, and it's something that, yeah. So, but as we're sort of like looking at the wedding and planning things, I don't want to be the person to not invite them, but I also feel that they don't deserve to be there. However, something I don't know if it helps you to think of because it's something that I'm going off is they don't deserve to be there from the person they were then, but given the chance, would they be a different person now?
Yeah. It's a hard
It's
one,
tough,
isn't it?
isn't it?
Yeah. So my sister's getting married in July, and she invited me, and I said no because I just when we've had meetings over the last 5, 6 years or so, it's you're just kind of treading on eggshells a little bit.
Mm.
And I just felt like we're kind of playing happy families or trying, and we're not. It's like we're
Yeah,
on
not a
a
genuine
different page.
connection.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much really. Just, I can't figure her out really.
Mm. Please just let me stop you there for a second. I just want to, first of all, say, thank you for following the podcast. It is such a massive response that we get off these podcasts, and they're getting better and better. So first of all, I want to say thank you. But secondly, I want to give you something for free. Okay, I've been speaking a lot about consistency at the moment with people, and people struggle to keep that consistency. They set a goal, they get frustrated, they don't understand sort of like the infrastructure of how it works, and then they start digging into that, start to make momentum, but then drop off and lose their consistency. And I see this so often with things. Maybe you're thinking this for yourself right now. So if you DM me on Instagram and ask me for the consistency link, I'll send it across to you. It's a fresh video that I've made last week where I take you through in depth how to really build a momentum of consistency for you in everything that you do. And you can really apply it to anything in the world. Anything that you attack with consistency, this matters, and it will fix anything that you're working on with that. So just quite simply go to Instagram and just drop me a message and just say, hey Dean, can you send me the consistency? Hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast. But yeah, it could be one of those things. Like when you, let's say, meeting Costa, and me and you were to meet right now, one of us said a comment about each other, and you get that whole like good vibe or bad vibe.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a very it's a life thing, isn't it? Where you either click or you don't. You can even see someone a couple of times, can't you? And you're just like, I like the look of you, but I just don't vibe with you. Do
yeah,
you know what I'm trying to
yeah,
say?
yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah, I can
who's to
definitely feel
say?
energies off people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but who's to say that's not happened with you two?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but it's like,
yeah. I think what it is that I said no to go to the wedding because when we've tried to have meetups and things like that, there's always been something that's happened, and I just, I don't know, just feel a bit unsettled around her. I feel like she's too much like my dad,
mm,
like too much. Do you know, where we tried to build a sister relationship when we first met, and I don't know, there were just little things that happened, and then, like you said about protecting your energy and things, I'm like, "This is I'm not I don't wanna play fake happy families,"
Yeah,
basically,
no, I get that.
on her terms, and that's what she's trying to do is she contacts you when she wants to, and then what I can see what she does with my mum is that she's very emotionally manipulative, and I can see that she takes a lot of things out of my mum. "Why weren't you
Yeah.
there? Why didn't you stop this?" and blah, blah, blah. So I get it, but then I called her out. She doesn't do it with me. Like, she'll send messages to my mum, and she'll just rant and rant and rant, and it's like, "You're so like my dad, so like, well, our dad, because that's what he used to do." And, I'm like, "Mum, why are you putting up with it?" I'm like, "Well, she's my daughter." I'm like, "It's not fair though, do you know, that you're going
Mm.
through this again?" And then she blocks her. I'm like, "How old are we?" Do you know what I mean? Block her, and then she gets back in touch, and then she turns up, and it's that same pattern again. But she doesn't do it to me because there was something that she said once. She tried to kind of release a load of drama into this text message once, and I just went, "Oh, sorry, having a bad day. Hope it gets better soon." And I blocked her, and she must have thought, "Laura's not going to take my shit, so
Yeah.
she don't do it with me."
Yeah.
So I called her out not long ago and I went, "Stop treating us like this." I says, "We will block you because we are not having this in our lives." Do you know?
Mm.
That's why I don't want to go to the wedding and everything, because it's like you can't just come into our life
Yeah.
and do this. It's not all on your terms.
Mm.
So yeah, that's why I was like, "No, I'm not coming."
Yeah.
Because I'm not willing to put with it anymore. I've been through it, and I'm not having people manipulate me, control me, bully me, or anything. If we're gonna have a relationship, it's on both our terms, not when you feel like it or you're this one day and not the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not,
100%.
you don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we only get to that point when you've, I guess, been through that
Mm.
and seen that or understood that you're in control of
She
that.
lives in the past. And I've
Yeah.
said to her, "You live in our past," because it was my past as well. "You live in the
Mm.
past." And I said to her, "I've worked very hard to be who I am today, to, handle, difficult people, difficult situations, build my confidence, everything, so I'm not willing to like have it upset.
Mm.
I've worked hard and I'm like, you need to go like do some work basically." She's always
Yeah.
having therapy, but what's therapy? Just talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, set some goals.
What are the actions afterwards? Yeah.
Yeah, set some
Yeah.
goals. I'm like, you're stuck in the past, like move on from it,
Mm.
do you know? And a lot of
Yeah.
people are, but yeah, just like, God, I ain't got time for this.
Mm.
And I can say that because like she's my sister, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But and as well, the key thing here is that if you continue being yourself there, people around you, let's just not single her out, anybody that's like that will either change with you, change against you,
Yeah.
and which is fine, isn't it?
I guess because as you know, you've got to be aware of like something's not right.
Mm.
And then it is easy to get sucked into that way of thinking, that way of life, get stuck there. But if you know something's not right, you do have to work hard to come away from it. And if it means leaving people and cutting yourself off, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, agree.
You have to do it because you have to work on yourself to go, that's not right. And this is how I want to be. And it's about the identity. Who are you and who do you want to be, which we've talked about before.
Mm.
But you have to be very clear. And I guess from me doing, bodybuilding years ago has like kind of taught me that, you know, the delayed gratification, identity, my habits, my routines you've got to do these things to become that person,
Yeah, yeah,
transforming your life and your mindset and everything. But you always keep going through shifts, don't you? Every time you go through that growth, you're always changing, aren't you?
yeah, of course. Yeah, and you can't just fixate to the end result and the outcome. You have to understand, like you say, the steps it takes to be that person.
Yeah.
You can't just jump to that person. But part of the steps that you go through, there is going to be shit.
Yeah.
There's
A
going to be,
lot.
yeah, but that's growth, isn't it?
Yeah.
We speak about this earlier on, but I always, it's hard when you're in it at the time, but I always think about when you're going through really struggled periods, just stand back and try and see that it's a growth period. Because if you were standing still, you wouldn't be going through that, which means you're trying to move forward. And it's accepting that, isn't it?
Mm,
I think I always stick by that thought process because whenever you feel that way and you're overwhelmed and everything else, like then go back a step if you want. And then it's like, no, that's not an option. It's like then suck it up.
Mm.
That doesn't mean crack on and you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But as in like absorb that and use that as your energy.
yeah.
Mm.
Because I guess about must have been about when was it? About March time. There was this 30-day program that came up with Dax Moy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I did it because I was like, I felt stuck. I'm always getting stuck at the minute, but I know I'm going through all these little breakthroughs and growth.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't feel myself. I feel stuck, and I didn't know what it was. So I thought, right, I'm going to do this 30-day program. It was really intense, actually. It was like every area in your life, really, really deep. You had to do an hour a day, answer these questions. And I'm sat there going, why do I have to do it? And I'm going, why do I have to do this? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I'd go off for do a walk, come back down and sit and do it. So there's a lot of resistance doing it,
Yeah.
but I did it. And then I got to, it started talking about self-worth. And it was about, again, identity, like who are you and who do you see yourself as and all this stuff. And I was like, I know what's up with me. And it was something really small. But what I was doing was I was skipping my training. I
Yeah.
was skipping my training. I was eating late, not prepping food, all these things because I was working on business. And I just didn't feel myself. And I'm like, this is what I'm doing because that is
Mm.
not me. I am
Yeah.
somebody who goes to train Monday, non negotiable, Friday, non negotiable, Wednesday, prep my food. I do this. It's part of who I am, training. And then since March, I've been bang on it
Mm.
and I've
And
never
it's
felt
come
better.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My energy, confidence,
Yeah.
who I am. And it's crazy, that small thing, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's just mental,
Yeah.
do you know? But to me, it means a lot because it is part of who I am. And that's what people see me as. Laura goes and trains, she does her walks. You know, she's always got a water with her, stuff like that, because that's what keeps me
You.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then when I'm in that good place and I know I've trained, it's like anybody can say anything to me this week or today because I've trained. Blake can say what he wants. Anything can go wrong. I don't care. I can handle it.
Mm.
And this is what I say to my clients is that, and my ladies, is you know that when you're in a good place, you know, you're eating well and you're training, it don't matter what's going on or what's thrown at you because you can handle it so much better.
Yeah.
Even though it's hard, you handle it so much better. You're more resilient. You've got more patience. You're more logical. You can sort it out rather than you haven't been to the gym or you haven't been for your walks for a little while because life's got in the way or you're too busy and stuff like that. But then everything feels 10 times worse, doesn't it?
Mm.
So it's like, you know, I was talking to my partner about this on a podcast, was why do we stop doing the things? Why do we stop doing the things that make us feel good and resilient and strong and confident when life gets hard? Because it's what we need the most to get through it.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. But a lot of people do that because I guess it goes into that self-sabotage
Yeah, I
doctrine,
mean,
doesn't
we
it?
all
Like,
do it sometimes, but
yeah,
we've got to,
you let things slip because they're overwhelmed, but actually the things you're letting slip are the things you need. So
yeah,
you need to realize that. But again, it's that whole like what you're saying with the non-negotiables. You need to know what they are for you. Again, a lot of people I find that they try and let's say copy the successful people they look up to by doing the things that they do, which are not right for them to do. Do you know what
yeah,
I'm trying to say? I
yeah.
mean,
Oh,
I
massively.
say it all the time about getting up at 5 o'clock and reading books and this, that, and the other. Like, I don't read books. Can't read books. But I used to years ago try and read books constantly, and I felt a failure.
Yeah,
You know, again, getting up at
yeah,
5 o'clock. I mean, I did this morning to drop mum off at the airport, but you know, you don't need to do it every day. What if you don't do that? You're not successful. You know, it's about building your day, creating your habits, isn't it? As opposed to thinking that that's what you need to do to be successful.
yeah. Because everybody's different. So what you need is different to what I need, you
Mm,
know. So, and you've got to figure that out first because then that's what you tap into to for your high self worth and just to keep
mm,
your shit together, basically.
mm. You feel like people run on this relentless pursuit to be like other people, but not taking a second to think what they need to be like, you know, and then they're just living on this like anxious lifestyle, aren't they? To try and keep up with the
Yeah,
Joneses, if you
yeah,
want to put it like. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but it, you know, but by being like that and doing that constantly, you're just grinding your gears down.
mm,
You know, but I guess like with what you're saying there, you took some time out, as in stop, look into stuff, and you figured things out, right?
yeah,
And then that will unlock a new level for you.
yeah. And it could be just something so small that's missing
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But people
So
don't realise, do they?
what where did your why did your journey start in the industry of, like, in the fitness industry? I mean, obviously, you went from bodybuilding and helping people and went into that sort of stuff. What got you into actually making a career out of it? And
So when I worked for O2 for about 12 years, and I'd competed and I was training and everything, but I never really thought that I wanted to do it as a business.
mm,
But then they opened up like voluntary redundancies, and a lot of people did want to leave, but waiting for to get the payout as well. So loads of us applied, and I was just at this time where I'd left. Me and Blake started split up, and Blake was about 18 months, and I was sat, and I'd be going into it going, I can't do this anymore. I cannot sit. I can't sit still. Like I just had this feeling that I need to do more in my life,
mm,
something, and I didn't know what it was. And then this voluntary redundancy came up, and I applied. There was like 200 people applied, and I was one of the lucky ones. Not for any reason, like I did a good job, but then I was just one of the lucky ones that got it. So I was like, I'm going to go
maybe
into
maybe you
personal
didn't do
training.
a good job with it.
Yeah, but like,
No, I'm joking.
so yeah, so everyone's like, well done, you've got made redundant. It's like, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So you had a payout and then a focus to go
yeah.
into something else, yeah.
So I bought my house. I did a qualification in, it was like a 3 months PT qual, because I thought, well, I know how to train and diet people. I just need the
Mm.
piece of
Doing it,
paper,
yeah, yeah,
need the piece of paper to go
yeah.
work in the gym. So I did that. And yeah, just like at the time, I got another job for a year because I didn't want to spend any of my redundancy setting up my PT, and I was getting busier and busier. I was like, I need to make a decision now what I'm going to do. So I worked with a guy called Ollie Tennant at the time. Like he was doing business coaching. He's like, you need to make a decision now. And I was like, right. And I stewed on it for about 4 weeks. It was making me pretty ill. I was like stressed because I didn't want to let this company down. But it's not what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do the PT. And I just went for it. And it was like best thing I'd ever done. It's
Mhm.
great. But then what I love now and through that journey is like through lockdown when I was doing all the coaching calls online and stuff, was I really had a passion for people's behaviors and
Mm.
really helping them with the real life problems, not like, this is how you train your shoulders and this is how you train your legs. I
Yeah,
mean, as much as I love that, it's like, I've got, partner doesn't support me, partner doesn't support me, family don't support me, all these things. And I like to help people solve those problems,
yeah,
time, just stop self sabotaging and things like that. That's
yeah.
like what I love to do rather than it's your best like shoulder exercises. It's gone, massive transition. Or, why we do what we do.
Mm. Thing is that these are the moving points of life. So, of course, they're the better things, but so often people don't see that, do they?
Mm,
And I mean, don't get me wrong, look, if someone wants to get on stage as a bodybuilder, they're not gonna go they're not gonna look into certain things, are they? Because let's be honest, they're probably doing bodybuilding to hide a lot of things because you feel good for doing it,
yeah.
um, but without taking that off too much of a route, like, it's so, yeah, so they're not gonna go into that, they just wanna know how to get big shoulders,
Yeah, but
so it makes
it's
sense, but actually the deep of it is this is where the real shit happens.
yeah, because when you're working with people that love to train, but then they can't understand why they're like stop starting because of stress,
Mm,
overwhelm, not managing their energy, stress, so they're not sleeping, they're tired, they're skipping the food that they should be eating, then they're going for, you know, that like picking grab and go. It's that thing. So then when you handle the problem, the real problem, which is their energy or the stress, what you're stressed about, problems at home or, things going on at work, when you handle all that, then everything else falls into place.
yeah.
So it's like, let's find out what keeps getting in your way.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, and I love that feeling. Literally, just made me think then a guy that I've just signed up to LMX the other day started the phone call talking about training, ended the phone call saying that he's not happy in his job, his relationship's not in the best place. Do you know what I mean? All these things, and
Mm,
it's like I love that transition just on a call, let alone now what he's going to do inside LMX. But yeah, I love that transition because that is the real life stuff, right?
yeah.
And obviously, with you, the really powerful thing is, like myself, is because 'cause you've got experience in that and you've come from that, you're not just throwing a blueprint out. it's real
It
life.
is real life,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
you've been, but that's wicked. I mean,
I can give advice because I've been through it.
yeah, I didn't know what you've told me today. I look. That's why I love doing these podcasts as well, because I learn stuff, but people also take nuggets, and people relate to who you are, what you've done, and they see that where you are now, which is amazing to. Do you know what I mean? See that transition, but yeah, just knowing that stuff that you said today, it's like it's proof that you are able to build the right direction to overcome these things, but then help other people then
Mm.
put things into place.
It's like I can't think where I saw it, but there was a comment that somebody had said, I want to change everything in my life, but it's too overwhelming. Now, I was at that place many years ago that I wasn't happy with everything. Everything needed to change. But what I what needs to change, your mindset, my training, my food, like just everything. And you kind of like, you just box it all into compartments, don't you? And go, right, well, who can help me with that? What do I
Mm.
need to do with that? What do I need to do with that? So it isn't really overwhelming. I find it quite exciting. I get the
Yeah,
overwhelm,
yeah,
but it's exciting that you know that you can get to where you want to be
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
You have got to work hard for it. Like I wouldn't be where I am now or who I am now without the help with coaching
mm,
at all
yeah.
to learn.
You know
But
that
I like to
feeling
seek
of
out though, like to know like how to
yeah,
figure
pick
things
at
out.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, otherwise, like it's like earlier on, you will then feel weak because you're not even moving forward because you're not reaching out. When you think about that feeling of like you say, your whole life, like just that comment of my whole life is shit. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like when someone says that sort of stuff, it's like your whole life can't be shit.
Well, I
Do
don't
you know
know.
what I
It
mean?
can
So
be.
that no, but my point is, it's
It
your
can.
mind
It is.
that is
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
everything to be shit. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say?
Yeah.
Like because if we were to flip that round to be looking for gratitude, there is a lot of things you will be grateful
Yeah.
for. But that's where I find the power of it, because if you're telling me everything is shit, not you as in, but people, if you're saying
I have said that a few
no,
times.
but people have, right? But
Yeah.
that's when you're in. But my point is, that's when you're in that place. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
Mm.
when you're in that place, everything is shit. That
Yeah.
door's
Yeah.
shit. That wall's shit.
It is.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
But ultimately, they're not all shit.
No, they're not.
Your mind is seeing it as that.
Yeah.
You know,
That is
and
true.
but it's a fact, right?
That is true.
It's a
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
but again, although I'm not saying I don't struggle, because Jesus Christ, I get all sorts of emotions. We all do, right? And especially when I'm trying to push my limits so
Mm.
much in everything I do, we get these emotions. But I always just remember that life, everything we go through in life is an emotion. So whenever you feel a certain way, it's an emotion. Whenever
Mm.
you think about a certain thing, it's an emotion. Do you know what I mean? And when
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
about it like that, it's like that's just how you're seeing it, and it's how you change lives for real, isn't it?
Mm.
Rather than picking at the things that are not working, you work on the ways you can progress through those things that are not working. It's like anything though, isn't it? Like you're not getting any sales at the minute, then you get one sale, all of a sudden you feel a different person.
Yeah. You do. Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or whatever it is. People who are trying to drop weight, they're not losing weight, they're not losing weight, they're not losing weight, and then all of a sudden they lost a bit of weight and they fucking have the best day ever.
Yeah. I
It's
guess
an
like
emotion.
yeah, and once you start changing how you like once you start changing your mindset and looking for what's gone well every day, there's always something that's going well.
Mm.
It does become easier. It's hard at
Yeah,
first,
yeah, yeah,
but it does become easier.
yeah.
Like so, Steve I'm with, I mean, he's like the most positive person I know,
Mm.
and I've learned a lot from him because I'm like, how have you got like how are you always kind of positive,
Yeah,
and always
yeah,
seeing positive things, even though like something's gone really wrong. And it's just like,
yeah,
it is what it is. We'll figure it out. Or if he's got something to do, one thing he does say is like, how hard can it be? And I'm trying to adopt a few things from him as
yeah, of
well. That,
course. Yeah, yeah. It's funny, isn't it? It's like it's infectious, isn't it, to feel like that?
yeah,
And obviously, when you meet someone like that, I mean, obviously, I know you're with them, so it's a bit different. But you meet someone, I sometimes look at them and think, what's going on? Or how? But I always think like they've either been in a really, really shit place and they've transformed, or and not to take anything away from them, or they just haven't been in a bad place to understand what that's like. And you know what? That's just as fucking great.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great if you're reaching out to me because you want to, I don't know, do something that I've done, then yes, that's wise because 'cause I've done it, so that's a smart move, right? But if you're reaching out to someone that's to do something that they haven't done,
Mm,
do you know what I mean? It's not the smartest move, is it? Because they can't tell you the deep detail of it. But
yeah,
actually, when you think about someone like that, if they haven't, had bad periods in life, so actually they're just always happy, then that is actually just as good because it's like, well, they understand what it's like to be happy, so actually they're great people to learn off.
yeah. I guess, like, when you're always around people that have got traits that you want.
Yeah,
Some people are very organized, some people are very positive, and you think like, why are they like that? Or how
yeah,
how are they like that?
yeah,
And I always say to my clients as well, like that it's that peer group of, you know, like I said to you this morning, I've put myself around a couple of people who are like super, super organized
mm,
in an accountability group because I know it's something that I want to get better at,
yeah,
ticking things off. So I don't want to be the one in the group that's not doing it.
yeah,
It makes me feel uncomfortable because they're doing it. I'm
yeah,
not. But that's good because I wanna be pushed, and I don't
yeah,
like feeling uncomfortable. I'll get annoyed with myself and then I'll do it.
yeah,
Do you know? So it's all about, like, just looking at traits and, like, well, I wanna be a little bit like that. I wanna be a little bit like that. So you have to just copy people, and then it
yeah,
becomes easy, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. I actually it just reminded me, of a post I did the other day where I was talking about when you're looking up to people that you're inspired to, and you know, traits that they do like that. What you're saying, like sometimes it can be very, very positive because you're looking up to them, but also if you're not careful, it could be very negative because you then compare yourself.
Yeah.
So you got to try and get
Yeah.
that balance,
Yeah.
haven't you? And I think
Yeah.
that's the key there. Because again, like let's just for argument's sake, so you want to earn £1 million, and you're looking at these people that are at £10 million. It's like they are different people to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're living a
Yeah.
good,
Very
and they're
different,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
spend 100 grand on Facebook ads. It's like, yeah, because I've
Mm.
got 100 grand sitting in my account.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then there's a disconnect, isn't
Yeah.
there? And then all of a sudden, you are just shit at the bottom of the pile. And
Yeah.
actually, you're not. You've got to surround yourself with the growth of people, right?
Yeah. So I guess, like the events, like Paul runs and stuff. And I think, the one that was at Newcastle,
Yeah,
and, a lot of people said this, that like you're inspired by people there, but then you feel uncomfortable at the same time
yeah,
because you think, God, people are achieving so much more.
yeah,
And I know everybody's different. We know everybody's different, and that's fine. But then it's like, it is inspiring at the same time. You've got to use it as like, you can achieve so much more.
mm,
But I have had that feeling where you're seeing people achieving more in the peer group, achieving more, and then you're like, I can't do as much because I've got
mm,
Blake on my own most of the time. I've got to take him to football, got my business, but then you got to just kind of strip back and be like, I can only achieve what I can achieve, and that's okay. It don't have to be massive things. It could be a
mm.
small thing you want to achieve, and it's a big thing to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You know, when you think like that as well, I always find it important to yes, it's good to see people growing and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, like you say, you are inspired by them. It's amazing, right? And also
Yeah,
they're a step away from you, so you can ask them anything. I always go back to that thought of that your success and your achievements are within your self circle. Do you know what I'm
mm,
saying? Because it's like what you're saying there. You say like let's say you're restricted by times, and then the next person isn't. Okay, well, great. So that's why they're probably succeeding easier in certain aspects. But then you've got to think like, how do I then maximize mine? Haven't you? And
yeah,
that's something I go through a lot because I've tasked myself now to work only 25 hours a week. Now, what I did initially is I wanted to hit £1 million, right? That was my target. I want to hit £1 million. If I do that without any restrictions, I will just go all out obsessed and have a shit life because I won't do any of the things I teach in LMX,
mm,
which is about balancing your life. And that's actually no, that's not good for me. Hold on. How do I do this? So what I've done is I've just restricted myself to 25 hours a week and I want to earn 100 grand. So it's just as hard in that respect.
yeah,
But do you know,
yeah.
by doing that, that's made me work harder and earn more because I've put myself into that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, just like you said about working, like, aggressively.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's something that I've done recently is that's unlocked something in my head that's made me go, to do that, I've got to work hard. I've got to work smarter. I've got to, I've employed a new VA the other week, Do you know what I'm saying? And that's
Mm.
because it's all I've got 2 VAs now, and I'm sectioning things so that I can work aggressively on the things that I need to do daily.
There was a book that I read not long ago. It was 10x is easier than 2x. Have you heard of it?
I have, again, I'm not a book person, but
Oh,
I
so
have seen something of it though.
yeah, and it was just basically about that, like delegating 80% of your stuff and then just
Mm,
focusing on that 20%. It's quite a good book, actually.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Is it saying about just do the stuff you're really good at and that you need to do?
So it was saying about if you're wanting to double what you're doing, there's loads of different ways to do it. But
Yeah,
if you want to 10 times what you're doing, there's only a couple of ways of doing it. So it
got you.
makes you like zone, like focus on
Right
that.
in on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know a lot of books and people talk about that anyway. But then
yeah,
I read another one not long back called High Performance Mindset. And I can't think what the two guys are called, but they do like the high performance like podcast.
yeah.
And it was just the
I know that.
traits.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I've
it
seen.
was just, it was a really, I liked reading it because it's had like stories about people, Kelly
Mm,
Holmes. There was a couple of footballers in there, just all like what about their stories and journeys. Mr. Beast as well was a bit about him. And just how they were so successful and even like, not that they've gone through failures, but obviously like the hard times as well. And
mm,
the traits of high performance mindset. So,
mm,
yeah, it was a really good book to read, actually.
yeah. But you know, so much of that as well is about how you deem to be successful. I had a comment, I won't call him out, but I had a comment on a post the other day. It was actually on one of my adverts about a masterclass that I'm putting out at the minute, 39-minute masterclass, free masterclass. Put your email address in, uh, and it's about basically how to balance your work life, right? How to master balance your work life. And he commented saying, I can't remember exactly how he worded it. But he said it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, balance, right?
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
it's not. It wasn't a thing. I was like, he was like, the question is, is it even a thing? Or something along the lines of that. And I was
Yeah.
like, I always have to comment back. Could have left him. I'm also interested to know why he thinks that way, right? So I'm like, well, why would you question if that's the thing? You obviously don't need to do it, or you've not looked into what that actually
Mm,
is. Anyway, then come back with probably, I'd say, a stupid comment, right? Of saying, in this very direct way of looking at it, he was like, "You can't be successful without being relentless." And for me, that point, you've just lost your whole reason of why you commented. What is
okay.
successful?
Yeah, because I mean, success is different to everybody, isn't it? Is it
Exactly my
is
point.
it time? Is it a finance goal? Is
Mm.
it just literally being happy and content?
Again, this is it, right? You could, I think I ended up commented back somewhere saying about, like, something along the lines of, like, people see success as different things. Like, one could be working, 5 hours a week and having loads of time off. Another one could be working all the hours a week
Yeah.
and having, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
It's about fulfillment. Success is about fulfillment, and again, it's an emotion, it's a feeling. Success is a feeling. I feel successful.
Yeah.
I just want to stop you again for a split second. Now, you've probably heard me talk about Line Mind X quite a lot. If you are somebody that often goes through life procrastinating and not really understanding what to do next, you have these big goals, big visions, but then you all of a sudden lose your energy and not know where to turn next. Line Mind X is here to help you plan the shit out of your next 90 days. And that is as simple as it is. We work on your next 90 days, nothing else. And that's why it's so potent and powerful. We make sure that whatever you commit to in that 90 days happens, and we really drive everything forward. We count back from the 90 days. We work out your months, weeks, your days, and even down to the things you do in the day to make sure that you are doing what you said you were going to do, and you are electrifying everything that happens throughout that period, and you're crushing your goals. So if you want to learn more about Line Mind X, jump on the freebie that's in the link below, and you will be able to learn a little bit understanding of exactly what we're about, and then you can take it to the next step if you want to. Speak to you soon.
So I ask my clients every week, what would a successful week look like for you next week? Because I say every week is different, as you
Mm,
know. So they've got to put like actions rather than an outcome. So, but sometimes like on Monday, a couple of them put like eat well, but I'm like, it's too vague. What does it look like? Because my eat well to
mm.
me is different to yours,
Yeah, and
so you've
also,
got to be
what
specific.
is
And then,
well?
yeah. But also if you're specific, then you know that you can achieve it and then you feel successful.
Yeah,
Whereas you just put eat well, like what does that mean? Does it mean I've still had chocolate every day, but I've eaten well? Or
yeah,
what is it? Good sleep. A lot of us a lot of my ladies are trying to improve the sleep, but what does that mean? Is it going to bed at 10? Is it the deep sleep? What is it? Because then yeah, so you've got to be really specific, so then you know that you're achieving it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's like it just reminded me then when you say that. It's like when someone says, "Oh, you're looking well." What do you do you mean I've ate lots? Do
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? But I actually said the other day, and but I love what you're saying there as well, because it's getting people to connect with actually the now, isn't it?
Mm,
Like, what is the action right this
yeah.
second? I actually said to the guys the other day, I was like, to stop using the word maybe.
Oh, right, okay.
So my thought process behind it, and it's a little bit like that, what you're saying there. Well, what is well? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's like I know this is obviously like a
It's like using
overused.
hopefully, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
no, but they're all the same. Maybe, hopefully, possibly, they're all the same.
Yeah,
It's not. Is it yes or a no? Do you
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I actually say to people quite a lot, and I've done it for years. And it's like a bit of a habit I started, and then I always do it. I'm like, "Are you going to the show next week? Yes or no?" Like I finish it off with that, so they just choose yes or no.
yeah.
Because if I want to
Could be
know
a maybe.
something, yeah, could you? But and anyone listening now, I said this to the guys the other day, like you hopefully, and do this as well, be aware of it when you next say it, but just think about that, because nobody wants a maybe. No,
No, they don't.
nobody. The people that say it are two. I always think about it two ways. They're either saying it because it's a habit, or they're saying it because they actually are not committing
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
When if
It's
you're,
usually a no.
yeah, which exactly that. So if it's not a yes, anything else is a no,
Yeah.
right? And that's how I was. But yeah, it's just funny,
I'll
isn't
have
it?
to
Because
use that.
when you think about that, though, it's powerful, right?
It
Because
is?
why would you want to be the person that is flaky? Do you want to be a flaky
No,
person?
no.
No. Do you want to be somebody that is relied upon? That you can be relied on. That is going to support you. That is going to be. Yeah, you do. So actually, then
Mm,
well, then maybe it's not that person.
no. Gotta be yes or no.
Yeah,
Put pressure on them to
but
make a
it's
decision.
yeah. For everyone that's listening, think about
I'm
this.
gonna use that.
And yeah, next time you speak to someone, like don't stare at them, and analyze them too much. Though. It's just like
Yeah. No,
off
that's a good
putting.
one. I didn't think of that.
So we've been through a lot of stuff there, and then appreciate you being open, and honest with uh, your journey and where you've come from and stuff. And I'd also like to say I've enjoyed listening to what you've shared, because it's really empowering for women to hear where you're at with. There's quite a couple of things I've took away. First of all, I just always love to say that the fact that you lift heavy weights. I love that girls lift heavy weights, because
It's good.
no, there's
Everybody needs to.
they do, and you know what? I know it's probably a bit of an older thing now, but it's like it was a thing, weren't it, years ago, where it's like, oh, I'll get bulky. It's like, no, you won't.
Yeah, I mean, like, because when I started training, like, years ago, like, there was hardly any girls that did,
Yeah.
I remember the first gym I properly went to, and there was, like, there was me, there was Naomi, who was, like, in amazing shape, she still is now, and then, I think that was it, and then just a couple of other girls, but when it comes to doing the competitions, there was only, like, 4 or 6 in a class.
Mm,
Whereas now they've had to split it from, height classes because there's like 40, 60, isn't there
yeah,
now?
yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
But
Yeah.
like my first show, there were like 4 girls there. It were in South Lakes. And then the next one, there was about 12 of us, I think. So very small. But I remember because, again, we had phone books, but there was no social media
Yeah.
back then. So if you wanted to get in touch with somebody that you'd seen in a magazine or you'd heard of
Search 'em.
someone, yeah, you'd have to go, "Have you got such and such's number, or is she coming into gym?" Or and you'd have to arrange it friends of friends, like.
Yeah. Sounds weird to
So
say that now, though,
I
doesn't it? 'Cause
know.
it's just like you're on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But back then you'd be like, "Oh, can you ask so and so to come down, or can I have a number and speak to them?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always say to my clients as well, like, way back when it was easier. Because if you were in the gym and you wanted help with training or your food, there was
Mm,
usually 1 or 2 people that everybody would go to, so you go ask them and like, "Can you just show me how to train my shoulders?" Or,
yeah.
"Can you tell me what to eat?" And that's it. You
Yeah.
just have it on a piece of paper and that were it. You wouldn't have a nap, mindset coaching,
Mm.
nothing. It's just, "Here's your diet on a piece of paper.
Well, that's
See you
where,
next
if
week."
anything, nowadays is too confusing, because there's
Yeah,
too many
it's
options, isn't
yeah,
there? Like, it's like,
yeah,
but again, it's simplifying it, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
and that's our job, to simplify and be like, cut out the fluff. This is what you need to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes people just think it's too easy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. And then they don't put the work in, or spit the dummy out because
Mm,
it's not gone to plan.
yeah.
Yeah. But like with obviously how you explain your stuff that you've overcome, family stuff and all that stuff as well. That is you know, something that I'm sure a lot of people will take away with from this podcast to, and I'm hoping it, you know, it'll empower women to take control in that respect.
I guess it's like looking and saying, I don't want that for my son,
Yeah,
daughter. I want to give them everything that I never got,
yeah,
do you know? And
yeah,
I want to change like history really.
yeah.
And
Break the pattern.
yeah, break the
Yeah,
pattern and know that you deserve better really.
yeah,
And like you said, it's not a want, it's not a need, it's a want. Is that what you
yeah,
said?
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, some things we do need,
No,
you know,
oh
we
no, of
need
course,
that.
but it's
Yeah.
knowing which, isn't it?
Yeah. But then the thing is, if you do the work, if you genuinely do the work and know that you can provide everything for yourself. So, because, you know, when it comes to like self worth, self esteem, especially self worth, sometimes we are looking for external things or people to fill our
Mhm.
self worth. So,
Yeah,
feel loved, feel that sense of belonging,
validation and yeah,
validation. Whereas if you know that I'm going to take myself out for lunch, I'm going to go take myself shopping, I'm going to earn my own money, I'm going to make myself happy because I can feel happy. I'm in control of that rather than, you know, I need somebody to make me happy.
mm.
You know, I think we've all, not everybody, but been in a relationship where,
Yeah, at some point where
yeah, of
that's yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah. No, I get it.
And I've had that said to me, like, you should be making me happy. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't.
That's not how
Like,
it
yes and
works. Yeah.
no, but no, you're like, it's a bonus, you know, if you're with somebody and you connect, that's like amazing. But
Mm,
like, it's not my responsibility to make you happy,
mm.
like your soul happiness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But, you know, it's
But
like,
that's about individuals working on themselves,
it
right?
is, yeah.
Two people work on themselves, meet in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got someone
Because you
that's
come together,
working
you've
and
got your
someone that's
separate
not,
lives,
yeah,
come together.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas if there is kind of something missing, then that's when I guess you can get with somebody and they're filling a void rather than you getting together as a connection. It's like filling a void and then it don't work sometimes, does it?
Mm, yeah, yeah. No, it's really powerful, and yeah, I guess with things like that, it's just about analyzing it, isn't it? Seeing where your gaps are, where you feel, and what you need to work on. But is that stuff that you can help people with, just for anyone that is wanting to, you know, dig into that sort of stuff? Is it something you're quite open and comfortable working on?
Yeah, definitely for women, because I do a lot of work on self worth because that's the reason why they can self sabotage or feel low or not feel happy or lost because there's something missing.
Mm,
So I work with them to find out what is it that's missing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then that opens doors, opportunities. And then, you know, obviously they're happier. So they want to eat well, they want to train. All the self sabotage stops pretty much because they're
yeah,
in a great place. So it's
yeah,
just working on everything,
yeah,
everything.
yeah. Love it. Appreciate it. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And you know, for the guys listening and who, you know, want to follow or connect with you, where's best to go? Where's best to find you?
Um,
Not in the phone book.
no, not in the phone book, but Instagram is Laura Smith female coach or
Yeah,
LinkedIn, which is Laura Smith lifestyle.
yeah, yeah. And then what sort of like programs have you got, or what's something they can join on to, or
Yeah, so it's a just work with women at the moment. I have coached a few men in the past, though, but yeah, women's program. It's a 90-day program that I run called Take Back Control.
yeah, take back control.
Yeah,
Love it, love it. Well, thanks for your time. Sure
thank
that
you.
you know everyone got a lot of nuggets. Sweet.
Great, thanks.
Thanks a lot.